Hey, Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Baraka Thumb to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilatabah Hashem Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK Las Vegas, started on 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the one and only Commander John Yohana. And I am Priest and Officer at 50 R Rock, and this is the Tuesday Brotherhood class. Today's objective is to teach y'all in the class today that the Most High God does not love all these other nations. You understand? And in fact, to go over some of the things that he has said against the other nations, but our primary focus is going to be our main adversary according to the Bible. Salakia. Am I frozen? Because on my screen, I'm frozen. And if y'all can hear me currently, I just want to go ahead and say right now, Salakia for the late class startup. We were having some technical difficulties. If y'all are able to hear and see me clearly, press 1 in the chat, Baba Kasha. Let's see what's going on.
I didn't have the volume up, but you
I do hear the. Yeah, I'm gonna hit refresh real quick. Okay. All right, so Salakia, if y'all don't mind, give me a 1 if y'all can hear me. Give me a 1 if you can hear me and see me with movement, and give me a 2 if one of them are missing. Baba Kashai. Hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ. Sis, it's good to see you in the class. That's fine. Go ahead. All right, I got moving. I'm just gonna check the volume for myself. All right. Or to what? All right. So Salaki, we're having some technical difficulties. So please forgive us. Before we start the class, I just want to start off with, first and foremost, give the Most High God a hand, Most High and Christ a hand, especially for this West Coast Las Vegas barbecue that we just had. That Priest and Officer 5000 Shabal, went and did his thing and led the West Coast for us to, accomplish what we did, so that everybody on the West Coast, or everybody that came to Vegas, were able to have a good time. So let's get that Priest and Officer a hand as well. You understand? All right. So, hey, Most High Christ, sir. I am DeBar, sir. Also, before we push on, just like every week, I'm just gonna ask that everybody be sure to do your part to make sure that you like and share these classes. You understand? So that more people have the opportunity to hear about these classes. We just got a new building out here in Las Vegas. So again, let's give the Most High in Christ a hand. You understand? Las Vegas is finally starting to move up and do their thing. You understand? So make sure that you like and share this class, so then that way these brothers and sisters have an opportunity. Oh yeah, kind of what kind, sir. Yeah, kind of what kind. Make sure that you like and share this class, so that brothers and sisters have the opportunity to actually come to class and, come and sit in with us in Las Vegas. And just for those of y'all that are just tuning in, that are just getting hit with Las Vegas, the address to our new building is 4850. That's 4850 West Flamingo Road, and it's Suite 2022. You understand? So that's 4850 West Flamingo Road, Suite 22. You understand? And like I said, just make sure that y'all do y'all part to spread out this word to the four corners of the earth. You understand? So that our brothers and sisters that are, just on your social media, that are actually, your physical brothers and sisters, what have you, your friends, what have you, have an opportunity to clean up their lives, just like you have the opportunity to clean up your life. You understand? The whole reason why a lot of us are watching these classes, that actually stay in these classes, is because first and foremost, we love the Most High God, and secondly, we want to find a way to actually properly serve the Most High God so that we can fix ourselves. You understand? So that our lives will turn over for the better, right? Well, that's not going to happen unless you serving the Most High God. You understand? With that, just give me a few moments to like and share it for myself, because it's important that you practice what you preach. You know what I'm saying? That's what everybody talks about. So let me go ahead and put my my teaching into action, liking and sharing. And then also, like I said, today's my objective as far as teaching, is like the title says, is for me to show to y'all according to the scriptures. This is not how I feel, what I think, my interpretation, or anything. You understand? We're going to read what the Most High God had ordained to be preserved for thousands of years, from before Christ to today, that you read in the King James Version Bible. What that says, as far as how the Most High God feels about the other nations. You understand? We're gonna start at the book of Second Esdras, one of my favorite books, if I may. The book of Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 54. And before we begin reading, I'll just go ahead and say now that if anybody that is online that has any questions, feel free to post your questions online. I will answer your question to the best of my ability scripturally. If I'm unable to do so, I will get you the answer from a man that is much mightier than myself. You understand? This is not the Christian church. We do not just say, whatever we know will make you feel good, because I bamboozled myself by saying it to myself in the mirror 1,000 times. You understand? Right. We follow what the scripture says, and the scriptures, the Most High God said that we are to prove all things. Right. You understand? And that's why we will prove, with your answer, we will answer it scripturally. You understand what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get it. The book of Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 54.
Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 54.
Go ahead.
And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest, Lord of all thy creatures.
Okay, so just for context right now, Esdras is going through basically the 7 days of creation, right? And he's big up in the Most High God and his power, in a sense, right? And he's basically saying from them 5 days prior to the 6th day, you understand, the Most High God had made Adam, Lord of everything. Go ahead.
Of him come we all.
So now it says, of him come we all. Now that we all come from Adam. In what context do we all come from Adam? Right? Is that what the Christian church tells you, is that everybody came from Adam and Eve. Now there's a lie and a truth in that in itself. That lie, Salaki. Okay, my bad. The lie in it is that the Christian church tries to tell you that that the whole world, the whole human race as a whole, began with Adam and Eve. So in other words, the Most High God put two people named Adam and Eve, and then all the nations, all the people just came from just those two people. That's the lie. Right. Okay? Now, what the truth is, and we're not going to pull it, we're not going to pull it. We're just going to paraphrase it, just kind of touch on it. But we all know that at the time of Noah, the great flood came, right? And at that time of the great flood, the Most High killed everybody except for Noah, because that was the only seed that came from Adam's lineage that the Most High God had deemed righteous. You understand what I'm saying? But mind you as well, that is a whole breakdown by itself as to how Adam and Eve were not the only people who were on the face of the earth on the day of creation on the sixth day. You understand? You can start with, if y'all just want to look into it yourselves, you can start with the book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26, correct? 1 and 26?
Right.
Kind. So you can start there and read it for yourself, right? Go ahead and read on.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
Now, it's and also the people whom thou hast chosen. So of all the people that came from the lineage of Adam, that came after Noah, all of them came from Adam and Eve. They came from Adam's seed, right? But there's something that should stand out in particular from just that one verse. And what that is the fact that it says, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. It says, and. When something says and, that means that there's a one and a two. So in other words, from what I just said, and basically what the scripture just said is that there's two groups. That's why I have to say and, because me saying and includes something. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, creates a separation from the two things that are being listed. You understand what I'm saying? We all come from Adam, but the people who the Most High God had chosen from the seed of Adam is separate. You understand what I'm saying? And just, we're not going to go on to it, but just to paraphrase Deuteronomy 7 and 6, that thou art a holy people. Holy meaning a separate people. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead and read verse 55, Baba Kashah.
Verse 54, 55.
Uh-huh.
All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
So Ezra is saying, all this I have spoken before thee. So he's basically confessing it to the Most High God, because at this point he's also talking to an angel. I believe his name is Archangel Uriel, if I'm not mistaken. You understand? And he's confessing that to him, right? And Ezra is also he's hip to the fact that the Most High God had made this earth for our sake, for the sake of God's chosen people. Now, let's take a step back. We've only read 2 verses, and already we're starting to dispute what they teach in the Christian church. And what they teach in the Christian church, one of the biggest things being, is that God loves everybody. God is for everybody. You understand that Christ died for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? Which just in these 2 verses alone is letting you know that it's BS. We basically began to debunk numerous claims that the Christian church go to claim in just these 2 verses by themselves. You understand? Because the Most High God didn't make the world for everybody. It just said at the very end of 54, and the people also whom thou hast chosen, because thou madest the world for our sakes. That hour is the people that the Most High God had chosen. You understand? Go ahead and read 56.
Verse 56. And as for the other people.
Hold on. As for the who?
As for the other people.
The other people. Wait, no. As for all people.
As for the other people.
As for the other people. Now, again, this is basically saying that I just broke down in 54. Now we're going back on that and in 56. You understand? Ezra's talked about one side on 55, one side of the and. Now in 56, we're talking about the other side of the and. You understand? Go ahead and read it.
Which also come of Adam.
They also came from Adam. Go ahead.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are everything.
They are nothing.
Man, they are equal.
They are nothing.
They are nothing. You understand what I'm saying? This is what the Most High God says about all the other nations of the earth. Just to summarize, just to put it as simply as possible. That is what the Most High God has said about all the other nations of the earth. If you are not an Israelite or a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you are nothing. If that Asian bill that had just recently came out, that the white man, that the colonizer had pushed out to protect, the so-called Asian man, the Orientals, the Most High God he says that they are nothing to him. You understand? And on both sides of that bill, the people that push the bill and the side that the bill actually protects, they are nothing. You understand? Let's go ahead and read on.
Be like unto spittle.
Be like unto spittle. Now, for those of y'all that might not know what spittle is, naturally when we talk, we have that, from time to time, we accidentally have that little spit that comes out of our mouth, right? And, that little itty bitty spit that comes out, it's meaningless. You understand? Now, one way that you know that is when you're talking to somebody and you deliberately spit on them, or you accidentally get a little bit of spittle on them, you get two totally separate reactions. Or they might be upset with the spittle, but it's not going to be as if you actually deliberately, hot one on a brother or sister. You understand what I'm saying? So that spittle is basically just going into what's the word I want to use? Reiterate the fact that they are nothing. They are meaningless. You understand what I'm saying? That's what that spittle is that they are just meaningless. That although they could be offensive, their offense, because it's just spittle, it don't mean nothing. It's something I can just brush off, go wipe my face, go, wash my hands real quick, and then I'm putting that behind me. You understand what I'm saying? That's what that spittle is. We got any more on it? Oh yeah, go ahead.
And that's likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
Now again, this verse 56 is it's heavy, because what is that? Three separate times that it went in to talk about how the other nations are nothing. First, it says that they are nothing. Then it gave you a metaphor that they are spittle. Then it gave you a second metaphor to say that, they are like a droplet falling out of a vessel. Think of it like this. You understand? When, the times that we lived in tents, right? Or, we lived in a village, what have you. And you go down there, or for those of y'all that go camping, and you go down to the river to go get you, a bucket of water, right? And as you walking back up that hill so that you can, what's the word, where you put it over a fire to, it's not sanitize, but I can't think what it, so that it's drinking water. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, purify. So that you can purify the water, right? As you're walking up that hill, each step is making that water shake to the left and to the right, back and forth. And every once in a while, there's a droplet that drops out. What are you more worried about? The main body of water that is in the bucket, or them little droplets that's falling out? Are you really stressing about catching all them droplets and keeping every single little droplet in that bucket? No. Do you fuss when them droplets come out? No. It's, what did it say at the very beginning? That thou hast said that they are nothing, because they are those droplets. You understand? They are that spittle. They are nothing. You understand? And that's just to start off with. This includes all the other nations. We damn near don't even have to teach the rest of this class just off of this. We should be able to just to wrap up this class on this subject for today, just off of these 3 verses. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? But mind you, we have more precepts, because the Bible continues on to speak about these other nations, to speak against these other nations, to speak against what the Christian church teaches in the first place about how God is about unity and equality and is for everybody and this, that, and the other. When here in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, we're to tell you that the Most High God is only for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right. You understand? So with that, we're going to drop that, and we're going to go to the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 20. And for those of y'all that are just tuning in, what we just read was the book of 2 Esdras, chapter 6, verses 54 to 56. And then if I may, let me just get there with you. Second Timothy's 2 and 20. All right, go ahead and read that when you got it.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 20.
Uh-huh.
But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth.
So even in a great house, you understand, it's basically saying that there's not only things of value, but of things that are of great value, but also things of little value. You understand? Go ahead.
And some to honor, and some to dishonor.
And some to honor, and some to dishonor. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for the master's use.
Right.
And prepared unto every good work.
Now, one reason why I'm bringing that out, right, is for us to understand that, because a lot of people in the world love to say, okay, so why would God create people that he's just gonna hate? You understand? Why is it that he's gonna create people that he's just going to just to destroy? Right? Well, what we just read right there lets you know that, you know, in a great house, there are going to be great things, and there's going to be lesser things. There are going to be things of honor, and there's going to be things of dishonor. And in any way, would you ever think to even offend the Most High and say that he is about dishonor? In any way? No. The most high is basically, the Most High is honor. You understand what I'm saying? We strive to be like Christ because Christ was like him. You understand? An honorable man. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So with all of those, with us being vessels, you understand? The Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we were created to be vessels of honor. You understand? And the other nations, man, that's just vessels of dishonor. Well, we have to set the standard for them. Now, mind you as well, what we had just read in 2 Esdras, the world was created for our sake. You understand? It was created for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, for us. The only thing we got to do is just follow after those laws, statutes, and commandments that are not grievous, first and foremost. You understand? They are not grievous, but they will also that is how you become that honorable vessel that the Most High God had even created you to be in the first place. You understand? Let's see. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor. So in verse 21, where it says, if a man therefore purge himself from these, these is basically being dishonorable, thinking of himself as, first of all, thinking of himself as being lesser, which is something that plagues the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American community. You understand? We think that everybody is greater than us. One way that you know that is the simple fact that we go to the leaders of the other nations' communities to solve our problems, because we don't believe in ourselves to fix our own problems. You understand? But we don't have that problem in the ISUPK. And to even top that, we bring in all of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and we solve all of our problems that come in. You understand what I'm saying? And in fact, we even go out to solve our brothers and sisters' problems. Take, for example, the mission to Acuna. You understand? Where them brothers in Texas went out to cross the border of Mexico to help our Haitian refugee brothers and sisters, right? Because the Christian church wasn't out there helping them, and no mind, right? We crossed that border to go and help them. You understand? For one, let them know who they was according to the Bible, who their enemy was according to the Bible, but also to help them with food, with water, with clothing, with diapers and wipes for their children. You understand? That is something that you only find in the ISUPK. You don't find those types of solutions from anywhere else. Because you know what what was it? Was it the military that was at the border that had told the brothers from Texas to go and just give that to the Christian church? Now, my question is, do you think that was the only time that was ever said? Do you think that, them Christian churches aren't in their churches saying, hey, let's all come together and, give me your tithes, give me your donations, give me. But yet, why is it that we can't turn on the news or find any type of history of what the Christian church has done for our brothers and sisters in our refugee brothers and sisters from Haiti into Mexico? Why can't we find any news on that? Now, I'll tell you, just to challenge what I just said, because of the fact that our stuff got removed because they don't want to see blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans actually helping their own people. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? That's the difference between us and them. That's also why, now, mind you as well, these people are in power. These other nations are in power to help the refugees from Haiti that were in Acuna, Mexico. They had the power to do it, but they didn't. You know why? Because they are vessels of dishonor. And the only way that they want to have any type of interaction with the people of the Levite tribe or the so-called Haitians is if they're getting some sort of benefit, a bigger benefit at that, from them people. And mind you, that is a poor people who already have nothing. Right. You understand what I'm saying? That is the only way they want to have an interaction with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because they are a vessel made for dishonor. For you to see black, Hispanic, and Native American, man, that you are better than them. You understand? Look at your brothers and sisters in the ISUPK. We prove that. You understand? And it says, to move on, he shall be a vessel from honor. He shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for the master's use. That master's use. Salakia. That master's use. Who is the master of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? It's the Most High God in Christ. It's Most High in Christ. You understand? Whatever the use that the Most High has, Christ is going to dish out that order, and we are going to be able to handle, and not only just handle, but to complete that order. Mm-hmm. You understand? Because that's what we are made for in the first place. Yep. You understand what I'm saying? So, like you said, did you want to add anything?
No, get down.
Oh, okay. No, I'm too off right now. The water. You understand? So we're gonna drop that, and we're gonna go back to the book of 2nd Esdras, but we're gonna go to chapter 6, verse 9. You understand? Now, right now, we're gonna go very specific. We're gonna start going in very specific as to a particular nation, on how the Most High God feels about a particular nation. You understand?
2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 9.
Uh-huh.
For Esau is the end of the world.
So Esau is the end of the world. Go ahead.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
So as soon as, first of all, what we just read is saying that Esau is the beginning of the end of the world. For Esau is the end, is the end of the world, right? And Jacob is the beginning that follows. So as soon as Esau's world ends, or the so-called oppressor As soon as their world ends, because where does everybody's time clock basically stop at? Nobody really buys into the Armageddon of an asteroid actually hitting us, or starvation being what actually kills off the human race. What everybody's eyes and ears are focused on is World War III, that thermonuclear warfare, which, mind you as well, the only reason why we even talk about it in the ISUPK is because it's here in the Bible, because the Most High God talked about it, because Christ talked about it. You understand? Right. And the Most High and Christ, they're on one accord. You understand what I'm saying? So we talk about it because our master talks about it. Our head talks about it. You understand? So as soon as that end comes, what does it say? And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So the world that comes after Esau's world ends is Jacob or Israel or the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Wow. Our world comes next. You understand? Our age, our society, our civilization, our way of life comes after the age, civilization, and way of life of the so-called white man ends. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So now we just setting the grounds with that, right? Because mind you as well, this is two different people that the Bible is speaking against, talking about, and one that he's speaking against, which is your what did it say in 2 Timothy's? Your vessel of dishonor, and the other one is your vessel of honor. Right? Let's go ahead and read on. Let's go drop that. We're gonna go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 16, Baba Kasha. Hebrews 12 and 16. Oh, it's this way.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
So now it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. Is that it for that verse?
Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
For one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Is that it? Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm trying to get there myself. This new sword got me a little struggly. Yeah, Khan, please, Baba Kasha.
Lest there be any fornicator.
Lest there be any fornicator. What is a fornicator? What is the definition of a fornicator? That's what, first and foremost, that's what you need to ask yourself. You understand? You need to, when you read these scriptures, you shouldn't just be reading through as if you reading through them textbooks in college where you just trying to, just get through and memorize some certain words so that when the teacher asks you, gives you your quiz or your test, you can just remember, okay, I can match this word with that word. It's like Salaki. That's basically what I do. You understand? I just memorize the words. I can match them together. Don't even fully understand it. But that's not what you do in the Bible. You need to understand every word, every portion of every verse to actually get clarity of the Bible. You understand? And mind you as well, what I do with my college work, that's what the Christians do with this Bible. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Because if they didn't, they would know, they would be able to identify who Esau is just off of that one word. And that one word being a fornicator, being the fact that they have, a fornicator is someone who has sex or joins themselves unto something for the sake of pleasure. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So it's sex, or to put it in better terms for this verse, is joining themselves to something for pleasure. When you join yourself just for the sake of pleasure, that is what a fornicator is, because that's what sex does in the first place. You understand? That's why we're able to use fornicator. That's why they use fornicator in this context, right? Because what does Esau do? What is the so-called white man, what does the colonizer do with all these religions, all these ways and walks of life? Man, whatever fits that individual oppressor, that individual colonizer, whatever fits his likeness to what he likes, where he wants to be a homosexual, he wants to have, be able to do orgies and have dreadlocks and do this, that, and the other. Whatever it is that he wants to do, he's going to agree with that walk of life, with that religion, with that ideology, with that philosophy. You understand? That's why you see Edomites in damn near every single culture. You understand? Every single religion, every single spirituality. They try to get into everything. And the goofy part is the other nations allow them. But I will say before we move on to break down the rest of verse 16, and the ISUPK, we do not have Edomites. We do not have the so-called white man or white woman. You understand? We do not have our oppressors in this school. Because in this school, we understand that the Most High God he had ordained and preserved this book for our sakes, for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I pray you understand. Sir, you had something?
Yeah, just real quick. Everything that you're saying is super on point, especially when it comes to this school and our code of conduct. So much to the point to where at our barbecue this Saturday, you know what I mean, we stick to that script no matter what the circumstance is. So much to the point to where there's a brother that came to the park who I knew. You know what I mean? And I met him and talked to him several times. Never met his wife. He brought his wife to the park.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And brothers did what they were supposed to do because, we don't guess, we don't assume. You know what I'm saying? And here we're taught to make sure. You know what I mean? Brothers had the courage necessary in order to lead this nation to ask that sister what her father was. You know what I mean? And she was reluctant to answer at first.
Right.
She knew, and she was reluctant to answer because she knew her answer was going to keep her from being able to enter the side of the park where we was getting down at.
Right.
Understand? And come to find out, you know what I mean, her dad is Italian, which makes her Italian, and therefore she was not able to come and get some of that good food that we had on Saturday.
Right.
Meanwhile, her husband, her kids, we made sure that they ate. You know
right.
What I'm saying? So much to the point where we went around the park, you know what I'm saying, making plates for people who had nothing to do with the event. You know what I'm saying? But we made sure we went out of our way to make sure that every so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American either was fed or had the opportunity to be fed.
No, kind. That was it, sir. Yeah, now, with that last point that he just brought out about the fact that the ISUPK goes around to, when we making plates for our own, we also get, make plates for those that aren't necessarily under this banner, but are still of the same seed. You understand? And because today is the Tuesday Brotherhood class, we have to give recognition and we have to give the Lord a hand, you understand, for even teaching and showing the ISUPK, showing Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans how to show real brotherhood. You understand? Because it was brothers that was well across the parking lot, well across, the other side of the park. You understand? Hooping it up. Didn't even know what we was doing, what function we had. They probably thought we was doing a birthday party or something like that. So they didn't even think they'd come over. But we went and sought them out. You understand? And one reason for that is because our King, Yahweh Shai Mashiach in the Hebrew, or Jesus Christ, as y'all know him to this, to this English Bible, he set that example. Right. And that's how you know that the ISUPK under Commanding General Yahana is the home of the truth and follows after the footsteps, step by step of what Yahweh Shai Mashiach has set for us to follow in the first place. Y'all understand? I pray you understand that. Right. I pray you understand that. You understand? So we got a good, I'm assuming we have a good understanding what the fornicator is, on how Esau is a fornicator in the context, and mind you, keyword, context of this verse. You understand? So unless we have any questions, let's move on for the rest of it. It says, or profane person. Profane. What does it mean to be a profane person? You understand? Let's go ahead and, Kind of the water, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay. All right. This is the definition for profane from the Oxford Language Dictionary. Of a person or their behavior, not respectful of orthodox religions. So like, not respectful of orthodox religious practice. Let me see, this is better. This definition is the one. To treat something sacred with irreverence or disrespect.
Exactly. Now, mind you, the officer, now, of course, I'm not speaking against what he just said, but what I will say is I can see how both of those definitions apply when it comes to Esau. So read that second definition, the one that you said was better, sir. Salaki.
To treat something sacred with irreverence or disrespect. So words associated with it is to desecrate, violate, defile, treat with disrespect, degrade, contaminate, pollute, and taint.
Ooh.
All those words.
Them two words that you said.
Profane.
Contaminate and what was after contaminate? Pollute.
Mm-hmm.
Contaminate and pollute. Man, Esau, the so-called white man, who got their hands on this and painted their faces over all the judges thereof, according to this Bible? Aside from the oppressor, aside from the colonizer, the so-called white man, who else had done it? Now, with that being said, from what he just read with them synonyms for the word profane, doesn't all fingers point at the so-called white man being Esau? Doesn't all fingers point at him, at the oppressor, at the colonizer? You understand? He contaminated this and polluted it before they went and painted their faces thereof over the judges of this Bible, over Moses, where people think that Moses was a white man, that Christ is a white man. And because of that, a lot of people think that God is a white man. Right. Diluted, polluted, and what was the word? Contaminated. In other words, Esau is a virus. Right. He is a disease. His ways is very contagious, and it's deadly because he is a disease. Right? Now, what Salaki, can you read that first verse again? Or the first definition for me, Baba Kasha? Salaki.
Relating or devoted to that which is not sacred or biblical, secular rather than religious. That's the first definition. Second definition is of a person or their behavior, not respectful of orthodox religious practice.
Okay, that was the one that I was looking for. Now, a lot of people think that the Orthodox way of this Bible is, when they look up the Orthodox Jew, right? The Orthodox Jewish man, right? Their customs, right? When Orthodox basically means just, normal, the normal standard. You understand? The majority. What the normal standard is for this Bible is that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the only ones who follow this and read from this. And hell, they're the ordained people. Right. And, they teach and are taught from this. Specifically just that. You understand? But to what we had just read, he is offensive to those ways. So that's why I'm saying both of those definitions fit Esau in this context perfectly. Right. You understand? And mind you as well, it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. Someone who is a fornicator where he just does whatever just fits his fancy, right? As a fornicator. Or profane person, a disrespectful disease. as Esau, right? Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Now, if I may, I see you, sir. Now, if I may, one reason why this verse right here is so heavy to me and is one of my favorite verses, especially when I'm talking about this subject, right? It boils my blood when you read this and understand who Esau is, but yet we follow after him. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans put him on a pedestal and think that anybody of that seed would be worthy of being called the Messiah, should be worthy of being called King, the Savior, Mashiach. That pisses me off. You understand? There is not a single black man who would, there is not a single white man who would walk this earth for the sake of a black man. If that were the case, Biden would have fell through with what he was talking about, where, hey, you ain't black unless you vote for me. And what was one of the first racial bills that he signed and passed through? You talking about if you black, sign for me, basically, even though in the midst of calling our children roaches, but he signed a bill to defend somebody that's not even afflicted here in America. Mind you, they had not even, me and my rib was just talking about this not too long ago. I believe it was 5 years of slavery. It might have been less than that because the Asian man wasn't strong enough to endure in any context to be able to endure the slavery here in America. Served 5 years tops here in America, but yet got a racial bill to defend them here in America before blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans did. That pisses me off. That boils my blood. You understand what I'm saying? Salakia, so you had something?
Yeah, man. With everything that you bringing out is just, it's so damn heavy and it's
Most High Christ.
It's ridiculously on point, right? And as you're talking, I'm scrolling through trying to find the names of the characters in this movie, right? Because I'm not sure how many people are familiar with this, but there was a movie probably about 2 years ago that was made, and the name of the movie was called Esau, right?
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
And then I'm trying to find the characters that was in that book. That was in that movie.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie called Esau, right? And for time's sake, I don't want to take too much time. So if I find it, what I'm saying, I'll come back and I'll read off some of the names. But the thing is, though, everyone, and I mean every character in that movie, including Jacob, including Rebecca, including Isaac, everybody was a colonizer. So to your point about being profane,
right,
being a fornicator,
right,
that movie is a perfect example of everything that you said. Everything that you said about how we could be so deceived and allow them to play us like that, to where we actually believe that the Most High, in His infinite wisdom, would choose such a profane fornicator, such as Esau, and have him be the chosen seed. You get my point? So which everything that you're saying is on point. It just made me think about that movie, and I can't find the picture right now, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
But if you just, for anybody that's interested, if you look for the movie, it's called Esau, right? And it was made recently.
It's just Esau.
It's Esau. And
okay.
If you look at the names of the actors that are playing these characters, you can't do nothing but laugh, because like, especially like when you're in the truth, you ain't gonna do your first reaction like, damn, he doing what he do. You get my point? So I just wanted to piggyback on what you were saying, because everything that you were saying was super on point.
Nah, Most High Christ. Most High Christ. But so, where were we at? So, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright? Y'all, if I may, just to kind of reiterate on that before we go on to our, to our next precept, right? So like our next precept, right? This disgusting, disrespectful virus of a person gave up his birthright for just a morsel of meat. For a morsel of meat. Now, I want us to kind of just sit on that for a minute to just think about how a lot of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and I keep it a buck. When I was in the world, I'm guilty of this my damn self. I ain't know no better, especially with my background, right? We try to befriend the so-called white man, our colonizer, the colonizer, the oppressor, and not taking into consideration that this man, his forefather, sold his birthright. His birthright. Mind you, if you ain't hip to it, the birthright is what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans got to have rulership over this earth, essentially. To put it into a nutshell, to make it, quick, fast, and snappy. That's what the birthright was. Esau sold that for a morsel of meat. Now, when y'all are out there trying to be friends with these white, these white boys and these white girls, and trying to function with them, you don't think that they're gonna sell you out for the sake of saving their own asses or trying for them to have any type of gain? They're not just gonna throw you under the bus. This is why the Bible is so important for a black, Hispanic, and Native American man. This is why it's important for a black, Hispanic, and Native American man to get his ass in class. And so I like it for my language. But this is why it's important. Because you're not going to learn this in your Christian church. You're not going to learn this in gay UIC. You're not going to learn this in, GMS, in all these other, fake Israelite camps, who in the end, they're just going to fall back into the order that they're supposed to be under, and that's under Commander General Yohana. Because that is the order that was given in the first place for us to be under this one banner. You understand? And watch. It's going to happen. They will all drop their own doctrines to fall back into rank and order, because they're tired of the chaos and indecency that the Christian church has, that the fake Israelite camps have. They want to get back in line with Yahweh Shah Mashiach. You understand what I'm saying? I pray that y'all do. I really pray that y'all do. And the only way that you can prove that you understand that is you start to recognize that, there is no such thing as having a white boy that is your friend, a white girl that is your friend. And if you can't be friends with them, what in the hell makes you think that you can actually have interracial marriages with them? When the Most High God had wanted us to be separated from all the other nations, but what, white people was the one exception because he was brothers with Jacob and Esau? Now we're gonna get on how the Most High, what he says about Esau in particular later, because I don't want to jump the guns, lock you. But you take all that together, y'all gotta understand when you put white folks over your own, when you put white folks over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that offends the Most High God.
Right.
You understand? You were to choose your own. Because mind you, if you love God, you want to be like God. You understand? If you love Christ, you want to be like Christ. Christ chose his own. The Most High God chose a people. He didn't choose all people. He chose, he chose a people to call unto himself, whom of which is Yasharallah, or Israel. You understand? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He called them to be his own. And for you to say that, you know what, no, white people is bad, and I want to, you want to have interracial marriages with the other, with white folks and this, that, and the other. It's a spit in the Most High God's face. You understand? Hey, so like you, sir, did you get cut off from? I think I got us banned on Facebook. So like, oh wait, never mind. Okay, I think my app it just crashed. So like, yeah, because mine crashed and then the numbers went down quite a bit as well. Like I think I only got my YouTube numbers still.
Okay, so I need to.
So like, I mean, we good. We still good. So like, I was just letting you know.
Okay.
You understand? But with that being said, like, take that into consideration. The fact that the Most High God separates us, you need to do what the so-called God does. Follow suit. Separate yourself from those that He already separated you from. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So, like, I know I got long-winded with that. We're gonna drop that. Actually, matter of fact, we're gonna read that one more time. Are you there, sir, or you want me to just go ahead and read it?
Which you want to?
Hebrews 12 and 16.
Yeah, I can get
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakathum. Trooper Tazawar, it's good to see you lot. And then Trooper Razan. Hey, it's good to see the both of y'all brothers, bro. It's good to see y'all still supporting the ISUPK Las Vegas. You understand? Make sure y'all stay in class. Go ahead, sir.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. It says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright."
For one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Now, we're gonna drop that and go to the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 29. There's a reason why I wanted him to reread that, right? Are you paying attention? You are? Okay. I'm gonna find out. I got one question for you. Just load it up. So make sure you got your ears open. All right? All right, Most High Christ. So we're at the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 29. Yeah, kind of Wakan, sir.
All right, boom. This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 29. And Jacob sod pottage.
So Jacob was making some pottage. All right, he was cooking up some pottage. Go ahead.
And Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
And in the midst of that, Esau was coming from the field. He was out there hunting. And yeah, exactly. He's a man of the field. What is that? Genesis 25, and that's earlier in the chapter. If you want to know the characteristics. Oh, that's like it. Actually, we just go a few verses up. Verse 27. I'll read it for y'all real quick. The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Right now, go ahead and read that from the top, Baba Kashai.
And Jacob sod pottage.
Jacob sod pottage. He was making some pottage. Go ahead.
And Esau came from the field.
He came from the field. Oh, go ahead, sir.
If I could, man, I don't mean to keep cutting in your class.
No, please, sir.
Man, is on point. But
Most High Christ.
Again, for anyone who doesn't see all these examples and all the proof of who we are, who the colonizer is, this right here, just this one verse right here is, I mean, of course, there's many more. But this one verse right here tells you who's who on the earth today. You understand? When it comes to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you understand? We are those people that's at the house. We chilling. You know what I'm saying? We'll cook, put some music on. We turn music on just to clean up type shit. Look, the bottom line is we at the house.
Right.
That's what we do. We post. You know what I'm saying? We chilling at the house. Right? Even like you look at our functions. You know what I mean? We had all these after parties. They weren't out in the streets nowhere. We was indoors.
Right.
doing what
Right.
we do. Esau, on the other hand, when he wants to get together, he hiding in trees with camouflage paint on his face and all this other kind of crazy stuff.
When you if I may to cut you off just real quick, when they take pictures and post it on Facebook talking about how many hunters do you see, and you like, okay, I think I see one, and then you get the answer and it's 24 of them in one picture about this small because they all camouflage to his point that well. So like it, go ahead.
No, I mean that was pretty much it, man. Like that one verse. I mean, again, if you don't understand who's who, after pretty much after all the scripture that you've been bringing out since the beginning of class, if you don't understand who's who by now, it's because you don't want to.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I have. You know what I'm saying? Get down.
No. Fact. And to that point, you know what? I think we need to do the officer justice. We'll just read through all of verse 27, if you don't mind, sir. Go ahead and read verse 27.
Yeah, most definitely. Let me see. All right, this is Genesis 25 and 27. It says, "And the boys grew."
And the boys grew. Them boys is them twin brothers, Jacob and Esau. Go ahead.
And Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field.
Esau was a cunning hunter. Cunning means somebody that is crafty. You understand? Who knows how to lay out traps so that essentially he can get, the jump on somebody. Like them a cunning hunter in the animal world is like them tarantulas that know how to build into a hole, and then they know how to camouflage the hole. Then they they make a little flap. They dead ass will drag a big old leaf over the hole and then sit there with just their eyes peeping out just like this out the dirt. So they cover it like this. And as soon as a mouse, an insect comes out, all they have to do is come out, grab them. Is that simple? That is Esau. He's a cunning hunter. He knows the ways of hunting. There is not a single goddamn thing on this earth that he does not know how to hunt, including you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. That's why that's why he's got the so-called Negroes in prisons the way that he does. It's a cage. You understand? The Hispanics. He's got us and he's got them in the prisons as well because it's a cage. Let's not forget what he's doing to the Hispanics down at the goddamn border, in literal cages. But yet, people want to try to talk about how, hey, everybody's a child of God. Ain't no child of God. Ain't no vessel of honor is going to be out there putting God's chosen people, God's children, in cages like that. Do you understand? I pray y'all understand me. Salaki. All right, go ahead and read on, sir. Salaki.
Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents.
And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. To the officer's point, mind you, there's a reason why he's a mightier man than me, because I was only going to read just that first point. But he just sparked up a little. That's why it's like I said, he sparked up that little fire in me to read the rest of it, because that amazing point that he just brought out on how you can see the difference between the two of us. Ask a black man, hey, you want to go skydiving? What kind of white people shit you trying to do?
Yeah, pretty much. Now,
mind you as well, I'll keep it a buck. I was in Esau's military and I was airborne. After I got out, you know what damn near every brother told me when they asked me the things that I did in the white man's military? Damn near every one of them said, with a few exceptions. You know what they all said to me? Hey man, that was your mama's side right there, over there jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. For what? That was your mama's side. Because for what? Why put your life on the line? Just for an extra, what I did it for, technically, that was an extra $150 on my paycheck. Ultimately, that's all I got. Was $150 on my paycheck to do it once every 3 months. 4 times a year. You understand what I'm saying? That's not even real hazardous pay. I pray y'all understand that. Now, mind you, I was in the world. I was stupid, just like any other goofy ass nigga that's, strung up on some goddamn testosterone. Maybe I had a testosterone abundance like any other brother. I just, war. I didn't even give a damn about this country. I just wanted to go and fight and, just do what I could. I didn't care about this doggone country. Keep it a bug with you. Now you want to pay me extra on the way while I could do this, and that makes me more elite than anybody else. All right, sign me up. I'm gonna do it. I could be better than everybody else. Sign me up. I'm gonna do it. I got that mindset. If I can do something where I can prove myself and then graduate from it, and then after I graduate, I got that mark of that mark of honor and that badge of I'm better than everybody else. I'm going to do it. That is my mindset. And if I may, that's part of the reason why I desire to graduate Hebrew Academy. You understand? Because I have that mindset. I have to be the best of the best. I have to. You understand? So, but with that, other than that, when I'm not in competition mode, you'll never see me going out there, what is it called? Free climbing up the mountains with no safety gear. Catch anybody doing that. Don't matter what they had. Man, you doing some white people shit. Skydiving, doing white people shit. You doing anything that puts your life online. One thing that irks me the most is when I'm on social media and I see them stupid, goofy pictures of the husband holding his girl's hand over a hanging cliff. An open hanging cliff, talking about you got that much trust in your man? First of all I'm gonna say is, bitch, you lucky if you even get me to that cliff in the first place. Because if we can pop open a couple of brews and crack open that grill, that's what we gonna do. I'm trying to chill. You understand? Because like it says, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. Man, I'm plain, bro. Like, I don't need all that special excitement. What I need, all I need is my brothers and my sisters, bro. I need my family. That's what I need. I don't need to feel alive. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So mind you, and mind you, you laugh, so I like it, but you laugh. But when I was talking about why I did what I did, at no point did I say that I joined the white man's military because I needed to feel alive. Getting shot at, being in combat, I didn't need that scenario to feel alive. I just gone home. I'm full of testosterone. I'm young and dumb. That's what it come down to. You understand? So like it. All right, got long-winded with that. Let's move on. Let's read verse 29 and then push on from there.
Verse 29. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
Esau came from the field doing his thing, being, hunting and whatnot, and he was faint. He was tired. Verse 30, go ahead.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
Hold on. Why did you read what you just emphasized one more time?
Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
Now, there's a real big thing on the internet that's been going on for a while now, is on how everybody eats their steaks. We all know that the so-called white man, and I say so-called for a reason, but he eats his steak to the complexion of himself. I pray y'all understand what I just said. If you don't, you really need to come in class. You really do need to come in class because you don't even know your own colors. I'm going to boldly say that. You don't know your own colors if you think that white people are actually white. You understand? Go ahead.
For I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
Edom. So therefore his name was called Edom. This man just said, and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee. He's begging Jacob, feed me with that same red pottage. In other words, Jacob was not finished cooking his pottage. It wasn't done yet. The meat in it was raw. It was raw meat. He said, man, just give me that red pottage. Because, man, I'm tired, bro. Like, I'm about to die. Matter of fact, we're going to read on from that. Right? And because of what he just did, is why we call them Edomites anyways today in the ISUPK. But also, we call them Edomites today in the ISUPK because they are the nation of Edom in the Bible. You understand? Go ahead and read verse 31, sir.
If I could, real quick, I was looking for, I was looking it up in the Hebrew, right? Edom, right? This is in the concordance, it's H1.
Oh yeah, I had looked that up as well. Go ahead.
23.
Con.
Right?
You said H?
Yeah, H123.
H123.
So when you go to the concordance, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's it's H123. And when you go there, it shows you I was looking for the definition in here, but I'm doing it on a blue letter to give the definition
right
of here Strong's definitions. Edom, see Genesis 25 and 25.
Mm-hmm.
It said Edom, the elder twin brother of Jacob, hence the region Idumea, accompanied by him. Edom, Edomites, Idumea. What I was looking for, it says the descendants of Edom, i.e. the nation of the Edomites or Idumeans. Let me see. What I was looking for is because I believe the definition also was that Esau that shows red. I can't remember if it's the definition. Of Esau,
I know what you're trying to bring out.
Edom, but the whole point is for those who wanted an even deeper understanding of the proof of who Esau is. You understand the definition or the meaning of his name tells you. You understand who he is walking on the face of the earth today.
No, right. And if if my memory serves me correctly, from what you're trying to bring out, from the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary.
That's where it's at.
It's the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary, right, where it says that what does it say that Edom means red pottage. It means something along the line of like red pottage, or people of red pottage, right, or something like that. So in other words, people of raw meat. And who eats raw meat? Really more than anybody else.
Yeah. Shit, let them stand on the sun long enough and see what color they turn.
And mind you, I'll give you benefit of the doubt. I'll just give benefit of the doubt. People that are in, when I served in Afghanistan, right? When I was in like Jalalabad and stuff like that, right? Where people, they were poor. They're on the streets. More so than how we have people on the streets here in America. On the, I can see why they just like on some, you know what? Let me just get it cooked just enough that the flavor is circulating throughout the pottage, and then I'm gonna eat. I can kind of get that, just kind of. Reason why I say kind of is because I'm hip to what their belief system is in the first place. Because if they feel like they're on if they feel like they're on the brink of death, they can eat pork. You understand? There's no compromise in ISUPK. There is no compromise in the Bible. Most High don't do compromise.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So understand that. But with that being said, when there's not a factor of your not hierarchy, what do I want to, what am I trying to say? Placement in society, so to speak, right? Who eats red meat or who eats raw meat more than anybody else? Because ain't nobody else getting glorified for dumb, goofy things aside from the white man. You can go on your Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. What else is there? Twitter, TikTok, whatever else. You'll find videos of white people who eat nothing but literal raw chicken. Literal raw meat, period. Don't even throw it. They don't even throw it on the grill and then take it off for a second. No, they take it off the packaging. They'll rinse it, if they rinse it, and then just eat it as if they feeding it to an animal, because they are animals. You understand? They are animals. I want y'all to understand that. And to go back onto what I had said earlier, when we was talking about Hebrews 12 and 16, That's why it pisses me off that we put that people on a pedestal. They don't even know how to feed themselves. But you think the what was it? The Black Plague, the Bubonic Plague, all the plagues that come about on this earth, you think it's because the foods that we are supposed to eat just mutated and was just like, hey man, I'm gonna kill you off. No, you're eating foods you're not supposed to be eating. That's why they got diseases. You understand? This COVID virus. You got a group of people eating bats. They're not supposed to eat. You're not supposed to eat bats. Now you got coronavirus. What was it? Was it the Black or the Bubonic Plague? Came from rats. You think it was only because the rats was eating their food, and they was also eating the rats, but you also have to look at the living situations that they had. During that time, they didn't know that you're supposed to separate food, your animals, and the food that you was about to prepare for food. You know, the animals you was about to prepare for food. You know who taught them that? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Y'all, I pray y'all understand that. When you watch them movies and read historic books where they talking about how, you know, they would have buckets of their dung and piss, and they would just throw it out the windows. That was white people medieval ages. You understand? That wasn't when blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans ruled Europe. That wasn't our time because we knew how to not live in filth. Why do you think it's always such an issue to get white people to actually bathe? Just bathe. Let alone not live with an animal that you shouldn't be living with. You understand what I'm saying? Damn. He just ran back. Okay, no sweat. Let's go ahead and read on verse 31.
And Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright."
Now, mind you, he just read. Go ahead and just hold that. Just hold that. In Hebrews 12 and 16, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Let me say that one more time real quick. In the book of Hebrews. So like you, sir, I might be unlearned. I might know better. The book of Hebrews is Old or New Testament?
That's New Testament.
So from the New Testament standard, we're supposed to take into consideration and read the Old Testament, correct? Right. It's funny. It's real funny that your Christian churches don't tell you that. And I'm even gonna share a really quick little fun fact on a side note, real quick, and I promise I'll make it quick. Your Christian churches also didn't tell you that Christ and Paul and the 12 apostles, they didn't have the New Testament at the time that they was on the earth. They were writing the New Testament as they were referring from the Old Testament. I pray y'all understand that. Go ahead and read on verse 32, Baba Kashai.
And Esau said, "Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?"
Esau just said, I'm at the point, I'm so faint, I'm about to die right now. What's the point of my birthright? And if I may, I see your question, but if I may, who could tell me what Esau is also just saying? Even though he's coming from, his father is Isaac. Isaac should have an understanding of the Hebrew, the Israelite culture in the first place, even though they wouldn't call it Israelite. But the culture of his father's people in the first place. What is something that Esau is not understanding, but in the same term, he's already showing that he's a fornicator. So like you said, do you understand my question?
No.
How is Esau showing that he's a fornicator, but at the same time, he's showing that he doesn't understand the Israelite, actually just life as a whole?
Because he didn't put no value on his birthright.
He put no value on his birthright. But my thing is, okay, Can you give me more from that? Salakia. And I'm asking y'all online as well.
In other words, he not only did he put no value on it, you know what I mean. But what I took from it was his love for hunting was so strong to the point to where he stayed out there until he couldn't anymore. That's why he was at the point of starvation, because he's out there hunting all goddamn day. You know what I mean? That's what I took from it. That's the point that I was gonna bring up when I put my hand up. But,
if I may, what you just said is so close. You might not be hip to who that relates to or what that relates to, but you on the lines of what I'm trying to bring out.
Oh, shoot it.
Okay. The sister says their word doesn't mean a thing. Now, you're right, but mind you as well, you're jumping ahead at this point. Because right now we just in Genesis, right? We just in Genesis where he's pleading with his brother, man, give me the food because I'm about to die. Like, what point is my birthright? Now, the Nordics, the so-called, the Vikings, they had a goddess. I believe she was a goddess or demigod, whatever. Her name was no, the Greeks had Atremus. Her name was Atremus. It was the goddess of the hunt. And the Nordics had Scotty. So there's different variations of her as goddesses. They're the goddesses of hunt. What you just said was so heavy. If you was hit to the Greek mythology and the Nordic mythology, you would have put two into the three in one, because Esau thought that hunting was the most important thing because that's what he enjoyed to do. He's that fornicator where he gives his life to hunting. That's what Scotty did. The Norsemen goddess of hunting, or the Greeks. I believe it's the Greek. It might be Greek or Roman, but it's damn near the same thing. Atremus, Atremis. That's how you spell her name. Atremis. She was the goddess of hunt as well, whom of which was also a very cunning hunter. Esau devoted his life to that hunting. Where, to what you're saying, man, the only thing that matters is hunting. Now, if I may, I pray that y'all can understand that in that context, if Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans can have that much zeal, that much devotion that Esau had for something that doesn't exist, for something that he just loves, just out of the sake of, I like to do it, and y'all just like to serve the Most High God, we wouldn't be in the circumstance that we are in today as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? At that point, we would provoke the Most High God to send Yahweh Shai Mashiach back to the earth to destroy everybody else so that we can have what is rightfully ours. What was not only just rightfully ours, but was made for our sakes in the first place. And that's dominion of this earth. I pray that y'all understand that. You understand? So like we were at verse 32. Now, verse 32. Now, this is for the young man. I'm going to read it for you right now. So we read in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16, it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Right? Verse 32 said, and Esau said, behold, I am to the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? What do you think? What was sold in Hebrews? What did Esau do?
Him ate something is rotten.
Was it rotten? Or was it not cooked yet?
It wasn't cooked,
It wasn't. It was raw. The word is raw. Get a young man a hand. Now you know what? I want you to understand this, young man. Say it out loud and proud. How old are you?
6.
He's 6 years old. This young man is 6 years old. And for y'all that want to listen to Granny, that's 70 years old, 80 years old, in them Christian churches who don't understand this Bible, who try to tell you all manners of wickedness, serving, doing Thanksgiving, doing birthdays, all manners of wickedness, telling you about, how to understand this Bible. Mind you, as well, she probably doing nasty, disgusting things with the Christian preacher in the first place, right? This 6-year-old child knows more than your grandmother, knows more than your preacher. You understand? This 6-year-old child can only be found in the ISUPK. I pray that y'all understand that. Because you know what? The Most High is with him. He ain't with these Christian preachers. Because what are these Christian preachers teaching? What their masters, the oppressor, taught them to teach in the church in the first place. I pray that y'all understand that. All right. Okay, so we're gonna read on verse 33. Oh wait. No, that's it. That's it. I just needed it until verse 32. So y'all see the connection that we just made. Mind you as well, we went from New Testament back to the Old Testament. We basically just showed y'all that, you know what, the New Testament is damn near nothing without the Old Testament in the first place. And for today, the New Testament and the Old Testament means nothing without the both of them in completion or together. You understand? Mind you as well, we read from the Apocrypha. All three of them come together as one. I pray y'all understand that. All right. So now, one of the verses I was going to bring out that I spoke about earlier. We're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 13. Actually, we're going to go to the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 3. We're going to go there first. We're going to start from Old Testament first. Since, a lot of people, Christians like to say that, Old Testament is done and over with. The things of the old is just the old. We moving on from them things. In the ISUPK, we going to prove all things. That's what we do. You understand? And we're going to prove that you're wrong and you goofy and that you need to be at the feet of the priests and prophets of the Lord that Commander General Yohanan himself has risen up. You understand? Go ahead. The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 3.
Malachi chapter 1.
Oh, that's like verse 2. Start from verse 2.
Malachi chapter 1, verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith the Lord, yet I love Jacob.
Yet he loved the world.
Yet I love Jacob.
Yet he loved everybody.
Yet I love Jacob.
Yet he loved the Egyptians that was destroyed, that Moses delivered the Israelites from.
Yet I love Jacob.
Yeah, he loved Jacob. Go ahead and read on.
And I hated Esau.
Whoa! He did what to Esau?
And I hated Esau.
He hated Esau. He hates Esau. Now, mind you, y'all right. Christians, y'all right. We in the Old Testament right now. Let's drop that. Now, let's go to the New Testament. Romans 9 and 13. Baba Kasha.
Romans chapter 9, verse 13.
Uh-huh.
As it is written.
As it is written. Salakia, sir. Where is it written?
Old Testament.
In the Old Testament. The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verses 2 through 3. You understand? Go ahead, sir.
Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
So, just like what the title of the class is, that the Most High God does not love all these other nations. And to take it a step further, to think that God is all love, like you just continuing on the goofiness. The reason why you goofy is you don't have to have someone read this book for you. Y'all don't even have to have me read this book for you. Commander General Yohana read this book for you. Or any of the mighty men underneath him that he raised up as officers and captains and generals underneath him. None of us have to read this for you. You can read all of this yourself and see that the Most High God is not for everybody. You understand? That the Most High God does hate a people. That the Most High God does love a people. I pray that y'all understand that. All right. Now, if there is no questions on that, we're going to drop that, go to the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and we're going to go to verse 22. Mm-hmm.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 22.
Right.
And the children struggled together within her.
That's okay. So the children struggled together within her. From the time that Jacob and Esau was in the womb of Rebekah, you understand? Jacob and Esau always tussled with each other. Were always at feuds with one another. You understand? Essentially, one could say, man, they was trying to claim dominion of the womb, even going into the earth, because that's what we're dealing with here on this earth. And mind you as well, here on this earth, what is the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans doing with the so-called white man today? We struggling with him. We struck right now because we one-track minded and we're trying to seek validation from white people, from the colonizers, from the oppressors. We're struggling with them because we want to be accepted by them. You understand? But mind you as well, there's going to be a time of us having a definite, what's the word? Not stronghold, but a stronghold of a position of which we stand, that we decide what we're going to fight for and fight from. Does that make sense? Okay. So when that time comes, that's when that separation between the two of us happens. Just like it's like being separated at birth. You understand? Because mind you as well, Jacob and Esau, they weren't born Siamese twins. You understand? In fact, when Esau came out first, and Jacob came out holding the heel of his brother. Now, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna say that because it doesn't. You know, I'm just not gonna say that because it doesn't say it. But Jacob came out holding the heel of his brother after that tussle he had been having in their mother's womb. Continue that tussle in the real world, in the open world that we are in today. You understand what I'm saying? And mind you as well, from what we've also read so far, we also know who the Most High God favors, right? Who the Most High God prefers. If I may, sir, could you pull me the precept where it says, from the womb, I have from the womb I have known you? Salaki. Because now, I'll keep it a buck for myself personally. When I was in the world and I was first learning the truth and everything, I read this story of Jacob and Esau in Genesis chapter 25. And, I had a lot of questions about that. Like, Esau basically tricked his brother into giving him that birthright. Now, I'm about to show y'all how you even dispute that in the first place, and how the Most High God had, basically, the Lord's plan in the first place, because he knows everybody's spirit. He knows the type of person you're going to be even before you're born into the world again in the first place. Read it when you got it.
Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5.
Jeremiah 1 and 5.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
So, with that being said, when you go back to what we had read in Hebrews 12 and 16, there is in a great house there is gold and silver, and then there's also earth and wood, and then with an honorable vessel and a dishonorable vessel, right? And then you take what the mighty officer just brought out in Jeremiah 1 and 5, with the consideration of what we've been bringing out with Jacob and Esau. It lets you know that the Most High God already knows what type of people that you are going to be, what type of person that you are going to be. Because first and foremost, what is that? Ecclesiastes 1 and 11, in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, within the first 11 verses. We're not going to pull it, but I'm going to just paraphrase it real quick. But there is no new thing under the sun. I think it might be 1 and 9. But there is no new thing under the sun. So the Most High God already knows what type of person you're going to be. He already knows. He has already made it up and decided that, when you come into the world, from the time that you are placed into your mother's womb, from thenceforth, before you even start forming hairs, that moment of conception, the Most High God is saying, either this person is going to be a priest and a prophet of the Lord, or he's just going to be an example. This is going to be a heathen. This is going to be this, that, and the other. This is what they're going to do. I already know. He already knows. I pray that y'all understand that. All right. Now we're gonna drop that and go to the book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 39. Genesis 27 and 39. Actually, okay, yeah, Salaki. That's what I wanted.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 39.
Uh-huh.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
All right. So just real quick, just so that y'all up to speed of what we just read in Genesis 27 and 39, Isaac is giving the blessing to Esau, giving a blessing to Esau, because Jacob had already received the blessing that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have today. You understand? So now we are reading what Esau's blessing is. All right? And it says that thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. The fatness of the earth. What is one way to put that? The fact that Esau, he's not getting the fatness of the glory of the Most High God. He's not getting, his fatness isn't coming from the glory of the Most High God. Everything that Esau has, his glory, is things that can be found on earth, where he might have buku gold, he might have technology, his military, things that can be built from the earth, from the planet of which we live on. You understand? That's what his glory is coming from, right? And the dew of heaven from above. So just the dew. He's not just small remnants, because mind you as well, what he's getting from heaven is from the fact that he's sucking the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans dry. So he's stealing the glory from us in the first place, our talent. You understand? Where you could be someone like, Dave Chappelle, someone great, right? In comedy, right? And who's actually benefiting from his work? The so-called white man is. You understand? And that's part of his blessing in the first place. But wait, there's more. Like, what was that, ShamWow or whatever it was? Go ahead and read on. Verse 40.
And by the sword shalt thou live.
And by the what?
And by the sword shalt thou live.
And by the sword shalt thou live. In other words, by war should you live. Y'all do realize that America is I think the greatest peacetime era of America might have been somewhere between 10 to 20 years that they were not in a war. And mind you as well, anytime that America is in a war, who else is in a war? Europe and Russia. You understand? They all get intertwined into a war some way, somehow. Whether Russia is actually in the same war with America and in Europe, or they got their own war that they're fighting in itself, trying to retake Ukraine, for example. It's lucky. Go ahead.
And shall serve thy brother.
And shall serve thy brother. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
So they shall serve thy brother. Now, the very first prophecy between Jacob and Esau is that the older shall serve the younger. That Esau will serve Jacob, right? So there is a time period for that it's already happened. And mind you as well, it will happen again. Okay? But from what we're reading right here in verse 40, and by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. They live by war. You understand? That is their life. And in time, they will serve us. This is basically a prophecy going into the pre-Renaissance, but going into the so-called medieval era, right? And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion. Now, this portion right there, when thou shalt have the dominion, this is them coming down, basically coming down from the mountains and creating and starting the Renaissance era, or the so-called Dark Ages, okay, where they claim that all of the history is missing from that time period. But the reason why it was called the Dark Ages is, first of all, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans was in rulership, but also that Renaissance was when they were painting over our pictures. You understand? Which, if you don't mind, sir, can you look up the word Renaissance for me, Baba Kashai? Yeah. And while he does that, it says that thou shalt break his yoke from thy neck. So in other words, it's saying that they will break them chains from their neck. And then what we're about to read with the definition of Renaissance is going to explain what we come into after that in the places of history, or in the time of history.
This is the Renaissance in the Oxford Language Dictionary.
Uh-huh.
The revival of art and literature under the influence of classical models in the 14th through 16th centuries.
That is not the definition that I'm looking for. It's like,
Some more. It says the culture and style of art and architecture developed during the Renaissance. A revival of or renewed interest in something. Now, Renaissance, plural, Renaissances, rail travel, okay. Similar, revival, renewal, resurrection, reawakening, reemergence, reappearance, resurgence, rejuvenation, regeneration, rebirth, new beginning, rejuvenescence.
okay. No. Actually, that's what I want because it started going into resurrection, rebirth, and what else did it say? Resurrection, rebirth, and
Yeah, let me give you some more. It says Renaissance, art period. It says the Renaissance was a fervent period of European cultural, artistic, political, and economic rebirth.
there we go.
Following the Middle
Rebirth.
Ages.
That was the word I was looking for. That was the third one I was looking for. And rebirth.
Generally described as taking place from the 14th century to the 17th century, the Renaissance promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, literature, and art.
Now, what do y'all think that classical it was classical what again? Photography? Is that what you said? It says philosophy.
Literature, and art.
Philosophy, literature, and art. What was classic according to that time? Because anything, when you think of, you hear music, or watch a movie. Oh, that's a classic. That's something that's kind of old, right? So, what would be considered classic at the time of the 14th to the 17th century? That's what you said, sir, correct?
Yeah.
What would be considered classic from that time that could also be having a rebirth, that could be having it was a rebirth, and what were the other two words? See, I forgot I remember the word that I was forgetting, but
All
the
right, let me scroll up a little bit.
rebirth,
Resurgence, rejuvenation,
rejuvenation,
resurrection.
resurrection. Now, okay, regeneration and resurrection. When you put all them together and you have a domino effect of them, what could be a classic? What could be rebirthing? What is it that is coming again, essentially? What you have to take into consideration is it's the Roman and the Greek Empire. It's the Roman Empire. That's what came forth at the time of the Renaissance era. Okay, this is something that y'all can research for yourselves. We're not going to spend too much time. Salakia. I mean, we 5 over. Salakia, sir.
I mean, how many more you got?
I got a few. Like quite a few.
No, I just said it.
All right. Kind of what kind. So, we're going to end it on this last one. We're going to go to the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. All right. So basically, I'm just saying what I had just read, what we had just read, Salakia, was to just make it even that much more clear on who the other nations are, and also how the Most High God even feels about them in the first place. You understand? And that, mind you, as well, like I had spoken before, that there's nothing new under the sun. These empires, the people that are oppressing us today, this isn't new. The thing is this is the last time. Y'all have to understand that. And the sooner that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans come together and start following after the law, statutes, and commandments, get under the banner of the Magan Dawada, under Commander General Yohana in the ISUPK, is when the Most High God, that's how we provoke the Most High God to send Yahweh Shai Mashiach to return to the earth so that we can have dominion over the earth again. You understand? So let's get the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
So, I was at the wrong one, my damn self. So, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Who owns and runs the earth? You understand? Think about that. It's a white man's world all over. You can look at the Holy Land, right? Jerusalem, the state of Jerusalem, the state of Israel. It's no different than America. They have LGBTQWYNZ 125 exclamation mark parades all the time there. You understand that? That's supposed to be the Holy Land, God's Holy Land. If they was the chosen people, you really think that they would ordain that and allow that? When that goes against, these are people that only follow the Old Testament only. When homosexuals are supposed to be killed for that, publicly on their streets, proudly, you understand? That's how you know it's not them. That's how you know it's not them. You understand? The hands of the wicked, homosexuality is all over the earth. A big portion of it comes from the so-called white man. He covered the face of the judges thereof. We talked about this in the beginning of the class. You understand? Where Moses is only white because somebody had, what was it that we had read in Hebrews 12 and 16? Tainted. There was a C word. I can't think what the C word was. But he profaned this Bible. He profaned the history. He profaned everything about our culture, our history, our way of life, and made it into something totally different. He infected it. He polluted it. That was the other word, right? If not, where and who is he? If he ain't do it, where and who is he? Where and who is the person that has the earth in the earth in their hands, but yet isn't there? Who is it then? Who is it that has the earth in their hands? Who is it that's running the world except for our oppressor, the colonizer? And mind you as well, when they talk about going to Mars, and there's no one even there. There's no one even there. What do they talk about what they're going to do in Mars? Colonize it. It's in their history. They are colonizers. That's what they do. You understand? Now, with that, I'm going to end the class. I am Precinct Officer of 50, or ROC. This is the ISUPK, Las Vegas, under the one and only Commander General Yohana, started at 125th Street, Holland, New York. And with that, class dismissed.